Hello, YouTube land, and welcome to the Get In and Get Out Nintendo Podcast, episode 32, right here at the Force In Unison gaming channel. Of course, I am your host, Dantes, and joining me like always, the man who wears the most crazy hats in the Nintendo land, Caleones. How you doing, Caleones, in this beautiful, beautiful night?
Hey, how you doing, Dantes? How you doing, everybody? How you doing? It's Mario Kid, Sport, Toys and More Club. I just wanted the hat in celebration of the rumor that never was. I just felt like putting it on. There's a lot of news to talk about, especially because we had Nintendo talking about their financials for the whole year, talking about the Nintendo Switch numbers, and talking about what they're planning on doing for 2018. So lot of news to tackle, new game announcements. So go ahead and take it away, Dantes.
Let's do a quick house cleaning because I want to explain something really quick. Quick house cleaning. Please remember, we have added more shows to this channel, okay? The reason I want to say this is we have a lot of new subscribers, and it seems like there was a confusion on what is this channel is about. Let me clarify. Look, it is for both. It is for adults. It is for kids. This channel, the whole point is that anybody can watch our content. So if you want more, topics of gaming, X, Y, and Z, you can watch on Saturdays the Get In and Get Out Nintendo podcast, right? On Mondays, Xenoblade Chronicles Mondays. On Tuesdays, we have Force In Unison Live when we discuss the general topics on gaming. Then on Wednesdays, we have Streaming Wednesdays, which is more streaming any type of game with Caleones, and he can bring his kids along. And they typically stream Splatoon 2, which is being a great hit for this channel. And we got even more plans with Splatoon coming up, so watch for those news soon. And then, of course, Fridays is Toys and More's Club Presents Minecraft Fridays. So if you have kids and you want the kids to have some good old time with Inkling G and Inkling B, you can join every Friday. So to clarify, full schedule in the description box below. Whatever you want to see, there's a option for you. Aside from that, let's do that quick rigmarole, which is I want to welcome everybody to the Get In and Get Out Nintendo Podcast, episode 32, right here at the Force In Unison gaming channel. Please remember to subscribe. Subscribe. 2 more to 300. The road to 300 begins tonight. Subscribe, like, and comment so you can make these two crazy MS happy. Also, remember, if you don't want to see our ugly faces, it's all good. We got a solution for you. Go to SoundCloud and iTunes and download this podcast for free. Rate us over there so you can show up some love. Also, we do have a Facebook page called Force In Unison Gaming. And finally, and Dantes says finally, go to chiguerosnews.com and give some clicks and love to my boy Caleones. With all that said, Caleones, are you ready? I said, are you ready? For the no one in attendance. And the, I don't know, whatever, how many people watching around the world. Let's get ready for Reggie's Hot Topics of the Week.
My body is ready.
My body's ready. Caleones, which is the first hot topic we're going to discuss today.
Well, I'm going to tell you which one is not a hot topic that we're going to be discussing for today. I know that we had a leak this past week, and they had there were rumors about this being the same person that had the leak last year about the games that were going to be shown at E3. Mind it that when the leak happened last year, it happened, I believe, a day before the Nintendo conference or the Nintendo Direct, that they were going to release this one in February, talking about like all the announcements, all the games, even developers, which developers is making what game. I mean, those things are not going to be known months prior like that. So, yeah. So it's sadly, it sounded too good to be true. I know we're talking about it, and if that were to be true, I mean, great. But I mean, they had things like, just going through the list real quick. That Nintendo supposedly was going to show Metro Prime 4. That they were going to show the 2 versions of the 8th generation of Pokemon for Switch, the Bayonetta 3, Pikmin 4, Skyward Sword HD, Super Mario Maker 2, Smash Brothers, the Ultimate Edition, which has all the DLC and all the extras from the 3DS and the Wii U version, Luigi's Mansion 3, WarioWare, Animal Crossing, Fire Emblem, Yoshi, Mario Party, and Mario Party 11, and a new unknown IP, which was Retro Studios working on a horror game. So yeah, if I mean that would have been the dead lineup for Nintendo. It would have been, I mean, a killer. And I want to take this time, Dantes, to say real quick, I want to do a virtual handshake with you. Congratulations on 300 subscribers, Dantes.
That was a small road. I asked you guys, we were 2 to go, and I said, the road to 300 starts tonight. I get it started 2 minutes ago. So anyway,
yeah, so...
I do want to say thank you to everybody. We are going to celebrate big. We promise. We got big plans. We got a tournament coming up that we want to discuss. Caleones, I always try to square how we're going to do it, but it's our second lives, our second jobs sometimes take over. But anyway, we're 300. I really appreciate it, guys. We're probably going to go down at some point. Someone's going to say, what the hell are this two crazy nut jobs here? And they're going to unsubscribe, so we'll be back down. So we'll celebrate 300 multiple times tonight. Anyway, quickly, I want to squash that rumor because I don't want to even give credit to that troll, whoever did it. But it was too good to be true. Luigi's Mansion, I got pumped. I was like, everybody's talking about it. Everybody expects Luigi Mansion. It was there. Pikmin 4, it was there. And I was already hyped. Because seeing all this, the Zelda Skyward Sword HD edition too, it was too good to be true. So it is what it is. Let's squash it. F you to the guy who did this picture. I wish you the best. Let me put it that way because this is a PG-13 program anyway. Caleones, let's go to the next piece of news.
Okay, so the next one, and before we move from this one, I knew it was not true. The moment that they did not announce Super Mario Odyssey Luigi's Edition. That's when I knew it was not true.
Yeah, sure. That's happening, right? Anyway, Caleones, go to the next.
Okay, so going over to the next piece of news is that the Nintendo Switch has outsold the Wii U lifetime sales in just 10 months. So during the conference when the investors, Nintendo was talking about their lifetime sales. And the Switch up to this date, or up to when they mentioned that it had sold 14.86 million units of the Nintendo Switch. The Wii U had sold 13.56 in its 4+ year of it being out, but just in 10 months, 14.86 million units. We knew that the Switch was up there. We were trying to get the final numbers to know if it had already passed the Wii U, but this is a big accomplishment. It's a big comeback from Nintendo, and I'm very, very happy about this.
Keep going with we're going to talk all the sales together. So now the news that I was happy about, go to the next piece of news.
Okay, the next one is, and to put it in hindsight, okay, so we got Super Mario Odyssey. It has sold over 9 million units. The game released in October 27th, I believe. And in just 2 months or so, it had already sold 9 million units. It sold more than Star Wars Battlefront 2 combined on the PS4, Xbox. So it sold more than those games. Not only Super Mario Odyssey 9.07 million copies, but Mario Kart 8 Deluxe 7.33 million copies, Splatoon 2 4.91 million copies, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 1.06 million copies sold.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, keep going.
And you can imagine Dantes is extremely happy. We were hoping that during his lifetime that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was going to go above 1 million, but in a little over a month to go over 1 million copies sold, that's a big accomplishment, and that tells us that we're going to be seeing Xenoblade Chronicles 3 sometimes, and hopefully during the lifetime of the Switch. So hey, we're going to talk about more about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and why it's a possibility that we might be seeing another one sooner than anyone expects. But moving along with the other news is that Zelda Breath of the Wild is now the second highest selling Zelda game in history. So right now, it's just below Twilight Princess but Twilight Princess is combined. So you combine the GameCube and the Wii sales, it's a little over, I'll say close to 9 million. It has 7.78 million units worldwide for Breath of the Wild. It's 6.7 on the Switch, 1.08 on the Wii U. but it's closing in on Twilight Princess. The one that has the most sales, it's by itself. So we're not talking about combining sales from different consoles. It's Ocarina of Time at about like 7.5 million sold. So Breath of the Wild is closing in on that one, but it's still 10 months into since the game came out, and it's almost the best-selling Zelda game. So
let's do this.
Yeah,
let's unpack it. We unpack this. Come on, let's unpack this, right?
Go ahead.
First, the Switch already outsold the Wii U. That's great. I mean, to me, that just shows you how bad the Wii U sold, right? How bad the Wii U was not accepted. I'm still racking my brain a little bit why the Wii U was such a failure, because I do believe that it had really good games, enough exclusives to at least have the hardcore Nintendo fans buy the Wii U. So I'm kind of like, why isn't the Nintendo fans did not buy the Wii U? Because there has to be at least
hardcore. They came over a little bit later. It wasn't early on the lifetime. It came in a little bit later. So that it's probably because it took time for momentum to build for the system. That's just my take.
But I believe because there's has to be at least 20 million hardcore Nintendo fans out there, at least, right? I believe, my opinion, Caleones, is that the system just was not attracted. It didn't look like a high-end electronics, and a lot of the Nintendo fans are growing, even though a lot of other fanboys call us kids for liking kids games. Anyway, I don't care about that. But what I mean with that is that people are growing and they expect better from technology. And hopefully Nintendo, if there's a weakness in Nintendo, is their designing of consoles. So maybe coming to the Switch, building a more high-end type of electronic lets them know that in the future they can't just, build, toys anymore for consoles. I mean, you can do whatever. You can do the Labo. You can do all that stuff. But for the console itself, it needs to look like a high-end electronic. When you got kids out there with iPads, you better make your system look attractive. Let's just put it that way. That's just my personal take on that. But congratulations. I want to say Switch deserves it. First year of the Switch is rocking with all good games. So those sales are well-deserved. And I think a lot of people, not only Nintendo fans, other type of gamers are buying the system. So that's good news. Now the sales for each individually. I was joking the other day when we did the Force In Unison live that Nintendo would be happy if they would have sold 9 million when we were talking about the Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront sales, where EA said, we 9 million, wah, wah, wah. And they didn't make their projections, I guess you can put it that way. But Mario Odyssey sells $9 million. And here's what interesting, people, right? This is the difference. If you make a good game, people will buy it. I'll bet you that it took EA to make that money back way more sales than what Mario needed to. I bet you that after like 2 million sold, everything else has been profit, Caleones, because that Mario is not, it's not costly to make. And that's where gamers and maybe developers need to understand the people who are making the industry expensive is the developers of AAA games, because they think that the graphics is what matters. Graphics is what needs to look better. The hair needs to look awesome. The world needs to look great, right? That is not the case. If the game is good, people will buy it, and it's proven with Mario Odyssey at 9, and of course, Zelda Breath of the Wild is close. It's close to 7 point something, I think you mentioned. So it is selling really well. I think it could get to the 9 million. So that means Nintendo will have 2 games at 9 million. Of course, Splatoon 2, using the same engine, they're 4 point something, right? So they also are making big money with Splatoon. Then you have 1-2 Switch, which probably that costs like $30 to make, but they sold like 1.8 million copies of this game. So they're racking up the money. ARMS is not that expensive to make. And of course, I want to leave the best for last. Xenoblade Chronicles, of course. 1 million, 1.06. That's awesome because the game, and a later news on Newsburst, we're going to speak to it. The game was smart in the way that it was not expensive to make. It only took a couple of years. They used the same tools they used from X to make this game, so the same engine and everything. So then, and they also only used like 40 people from their own group, and you're going to see when we get to that news how Monolith Soft is split, because they also help on building main party Nintendo games, but they also are still building those Xenoblade Chronicles. So again, smart. They're making profits. You have to give credit where credit's due. Nintendo's smart with developing games. They don't need to make it so expensive. So when that game sells like 1 million, they're already making a profit by that point. So to me, this all shows good news, Caleones. This all shows how Nintendo is healthy, and hopefully, because of this sales, we're gonna see, to your point, another Xenoblade before the Nintendo Switch ends, another Mario before the Nintendo Switch ends, and another Zelda before the Nintendo Switch ends. So I'm done with my rant. Caleones, anything to add to the beautiful sales of the Switch and its games?
Well, I mean, just like you said, I mean, one of the most enticing things about the Switch is that it looks like a very high-end, device. It doesn't really look cheap. It doesn't look like a toy or plastic. It does look like a high-end device, and of course, we're finding out even more about information about how high-end and how forward-thinking it is with how the Joy-Cons have been implemented with the Labo, how the IAR is being used for like face scanning and things like that, and how motion sensing. So I mean, there's a lot of technology packed into it. But as far as the games themselves, great sales overall. When it comes to the ones that we mentioned, I do believe that Xenoblade Chronicles 2, it might continue to climb up there because it got to 1 million way before I thought it was gonna take out. I thought it was gonna be maybe a year, 2 years, little by little, chopping up. But I mean, it got there in a little over a month, so that's I mean, already impressive. Like you said, it seems like it didn't really cost too much to make the game, so we might be seeing another one. We're gonna address that one later on. But yes, they have great momentum. They're not just gonna make games; they're gonna do other things like Nintendo Labo, which based on the reception from like the Nintendo stock, and everybody, it's a really good idea. It's something that's not necessarily too expensive, but at the same time, it's very profitable and something that, I mean, very unique and very, very Nintendo at the same time. So I'm extremely happy with those things. But yeah, that's I mean, pretty much I don't know what else could be said. It's just that they have been hitting all the right notes when it comes to the Switch. And it seems like 2018, they have the opportunity to continue with it. I know that even though we said that that the rumor is already been debunked, but we could see most of those games coming out this year anyway. So yeah, we'll see what the future has for Nintendo, but it seems like it's a very good one. So yep. Anything you want to add before we move over?
No.
Okay.
Just happy. Go on to the next hot topic.
And the next one is something that everybody needs to be aware, especially all the people that join us on the streaming Wednesdays on Splatoon 2, the people that join us on Minecraft Fridays to play online. And it is that the Nintendo Switch Online will launch this September. So they already confirmed that it's going to be coming in September. For people that haven't really heard of it, you will be required to have the online to be able to play, play games online. But they haven't really specified what other things the package is going to include. They did say that it's a very enticing package, which means that they're going to have other things added to it. But the price point so far, and they haven't raised it, but they did confirm that it's going to be $20 a year, which to me is a lot less than PSN or the Xbox Gold. But still, we need to see what Nintendo is going to be offering. But what we do know is that once they launch it, for games like Splatoon 2, for games like Mario Kart Deluxe, for games like Minecraft, if you want to play online, you will be required to have that. So I know we've known for a long time, or since the Switch launched, they had already talked about the online. They were supposed to release it last year. They kept working on it. Finally, they announced for September. But we've known that at some point this is going to happen. Dantes, you've had time to think about it, to search your feelings when it comes to this. How do you feel about it when there's a hard date now of when it will be coming out?
Okay, let me start. How I feel about it. I've always been against this, but okay. So I understand some people excitement saying, "Oh my God, they finally got the date. It's only $20," and they were kind of celebrating on the on Twitter and stuff like that. And I think it's smart for Nintendo to really make this cheap as possible, right? I guess what I'm gonna say is I don't know the perks to really crap on this yet. We have to see what type of perks they're gonna offer. But the same way I crapped on when Sony put it on PlayStation, right? You can blame Xbox for this. I'm sorry. It's if you want to thank someone, it's Microsoft for doing this, because why is PC gamers still don't have to play for online? Explain that to me, Caleones. And that's what's crazy about this. Why us console gamers just bend over and take it? And PC gamers were able to push back on a practice that what they said no, and Xbox Live was pushed back from PC. And to see people celebrating, oh my God, my Nintendo announced that it's $20, blah, blah, blah. Kind of feel a little bit disappointed, because it means like, companies can do whatever they want and we take it. I think Nintendo is making enough money that should have maybe created a subscription service where the online was still free, but then you would offer other perks to basically what was PS Plus originally on PlayStation 3. Like online was still free, but then you could get, all other perks if you, unite with the service program. I wish Nintendo would do that. I wish Nintendo, and again, I held Nintendo in higher standards sometimes, because they're kind of sometimes the last of the Mohicans. They're the ones to hold on before the BS gets to them. But Kamishima is a businessman. He sees the trends. They're not stupid. They're here to make money. So if people are just gonna accept it, they're just gonna do it. I mean, I don't blame them. If you're gonna accept it, they're gonna do it. What are you gonna do about it, right? I just wish it was, and the reason I say this is because the Switch, more than PlayStation, more than Xbox, the Switch is more it's geared towards kids more, and that is the truth. We cannot deny it, as much as we love the games, Caleones. So to tell a parent that you have to buy, a $20 service, a yearly pack, even though it's cheap, I admit it, over the cost already of the system, it's gonna be a tough sell. I don't know, but I don't want to crap on it completely until I see the perks. But it still sucks that, again, Nintendo, the last holdout, is doing what the Microsoft and Sony's are doing, which is disappointing in itself from the original two boys and the original Microsoft, because they're the reason why we are where we are paying for this. So anyway, we'll see what happens. I want to see the perks. I just, again, from a customer standpoint, I'm a little bit disappointed. But go ahead, Caleones, if you want to add anything.
Well, I mean, there's still a lot that we don't know about it. So, for example, I mean, like you said, it could be something where the online is free and they just give you extra things for the $20. It could be something like that. But what we don't know, also something that we don't know is for people like me that, and like you have two Nintendo Switches in your house. I have two Nintendo Switches in my house. Are we going to be required to buy the online for both of them? So that already goes from a $20 purchase to a $40 purchase, because we have to do it for each one. So, I mean, is that going to be the case? Or is it that you pay $20 and you have X amount of accounts that you can use under it? So, I mean, we don't know about that either. We don't know, like, if the virtual console is going to be tied into it, where the virtual console, instead of purchasing games, is going to be the pool of games that are going to be offered for free through it. Maybe that's going to be one of the packages, to entice people into getting it. So we don't know many of those details. What we do know is Switch Online in September, $20 for a year. But what else? What we're going to have to compromise when it comes to it. We have no idea about that. As far as people celebrating when they said that it was going to be $20, I believe it's more so because we kind of knew it was going to be inevitable that at some point Nintendo was going to end up doing this, because it does take some time for Nintendo to adopt certain, I guess you can call it industry trends.
Crappy practices, you can call it.
Well, you can say that as well. But we knew that at some point Nintendo was going to do it. I'm just glad that it's only $20, but at the same time, it's probably only $20 because they don't have the same infrastructure set up like Sony and Microsoft, even though Sony still has a lot of issues, even though you're paying $60 a year for it. But we don't know. We don't know what's going to be offered. We don't know if it's going to be required for online games. That is going to hurt them when it comes to that portion. So yeah, we don't know.
PC gamers don't pay for it. I'm gonna stand with
Yeah,
that. It is stupid. Why console gamers just take it? That's why I got bothered with people celebrating. They knew it was $20. They knew it was coming in September. But where's your fanhood ending? Where you're celebrating that you're gonna get to pay more? That's what just boggles my mind. Like
yeah,
like what Sony did when they presented the PS4 and they dropped it in really quietly that they're gonna have to pay for online. But they were smart because the people were still celebrating that the console was only $400, right? Because they knew there was gonna be backlash for paying for online, right? And then Xbox, you have to thank them for the practice where we are right now today because they're the one who started it. And it's just frustrating, Caleones. I'm just frustrated. To your point, I know Nintendo is not ahead of the game, so you're probably gonna need multiple. Even when you buy a DLC, okay, when you buy a DLC on the console that I own on PlayStation, Caleones, I can use that DLC for my son's account, my account, my European account because I have a European account to download European games, and they're all together on the same console. And right now, even with Nintendo Switch, if you even have two accounts on the Switch, if you buy a DLC, only the account that bought it is the only one that is using that DLC, right? Nintendo's still way behind. You have to admit that, Carlos. They're still way, way behind. And I believe that what's going to happen is when you pay for this online, if you want it for multiple people, again, PS Plus, you just buy one account and then multiple users in the system will be able to play online. And I believe that this is not going to be the case for the Switch. So if you have multiple like me or yourself, you're going to end up paying $40 and $60 so everybody can go online. It's just BS. I want to give the benefit of the doubt, but I just don't have much hope because of the track record from Nintendo. Even now, like we don't have cloud savings. The DLC does not work on all of the accounts that you have on that same Switch. It just doesn't bring me a lot of hope right now with that system. So I'm hoping that Nintendo's smart. Nintendo's making money. Kamashima, I know you would kill anybody. You look like a mafia, but think about the goodwill that you have right now going on. I think it's the time to show and be better and offer an online service. I'm not saying no to that, but be a subscription service of some kind that you offer that people can decide for themselves. Don't force them to pay for it just to be able to play online. That's my point.
yeah. And I mean that's something that it's Nintendo. We us as fans, we have been fans of Nintendo's for well, I mean the older fans for 30 plus years. We hold the games, the very first games that came with the original consoles in highest regard. A lot of people still play those games to this day. So I know it's still going to be profitable for Nintendo if they offer the online free, but then you start adding maybe the online you can start doing group chats, or you can do like Messenger, you can do those things with a paid one, and start doing the downloads for games on a monthly basis, try free trials, early beta or things like that for certain titles. So that would be the more enticing part for you to get the paid portion. But as far as the online, if you just want to connect and play a game, leave that free, and just add those other things for people that would like to pay for it. I think that would be the best compromise. And like you said, the Switch has a great momentum right now. They don't really need that small negativity of telling people you've been playing the system for over a year now, but starting to from this day, you're gonna have to pay for it, for the online portion. So that's gonna be a hard pill to swallow, like after the first year, than it would be if you're doing it like the very first day that the system comes out and you announced it before the system came out. Still, I would not have agreed with it if they had announced it that way. But it's more harder to do it now, especially with a bunch of kids that have the system, that they're able to join in online with us, that they're able to play Splatoon 2, play Minecraft, and enjoy that with us. Telling each one of them that they have to get $20 from somewhere to be able to pay for the online, just so they can have that luxury of playing, yeah, with us or with their friends, family members, anybody. So now we'll see what happens. Hopefully, once the final details are released, we're going to be pleased with what they have to offer. But until then, all we can do is just speculate and hope that it's not going to be that way.
Okay, we'll see what happens, and hopefully Nintendo finally does something that is not normal for them. Just lay out your plans, Nintendo, and let us know how the online is going to work. We're in February, and you're saying that the online is going to be paid in September, and we still don't know what the hell is it. Again, that's another thing. That's not acceptable, Nintendo. So get your crap together and make sure that they tell us what is the plan, so we at least can have time to understand it and criticize it, so you can have time to modify it if you need be, right? Because we are the customers. You giving us a product, a service. We don't owe you. We don't own stock on Nintendo. What matters to us is that we get the best product possible in the market. Anyway, we're gonna slip in because we had a shuffle because of the shitty, crappy fake news for E3. So quickly, Caleones, bring to the hot topics the two news which came along with the online, which was Mario Kart on mobile and the Mario movie. So go ahead, Caleones, give those two news.
Yeah, so this is where we start seeing Nintendo expanding into the different markets. So they've already been doing smartphones. We know in 2020 they're gonna release Super Mario, Super Nintendo World in Japan, in Universal, and so we have Mario Kart Tour. That's gonna be coming out for smartphones sometime in 20, I guess, in between now and March of 2019. So anywhere in between this time is when the game is going to release, basically fiscal year 2018. Also, we have the Super Mario movie. People, don't be afraid. It's not going to be a live action movie. It's not Super Mario Brothers 2 sequel to the original of like 30 years ago. So do not worry about that. It's going to be an animated movie. I know that some people have been saying that they're not exactly happy that it's being made by, I guess, a co-production between Nintendo and Illumination, the makers behind Despicable Me. But to me, they're a really talented developer. Shigeru Miyamoto is still going to be involved as a producer, so he doesn't really have final say on certain things. But he's going to make sure that the movie has the vision and stays true to Mario and to Nintendo's most precious IP. So, like I said, this is how you start seeing Nintendo getting into those other markets. They've been doing pretty much video games and toys for the better part of the last 30 years, but now you're seeing them branch out to movies, fully embrace smartphones. So, what are your thoughts about it?
Okay, so Mario Kart on the mobile, that makes sense. You could have tournament. You could have, I'm guessing it got some kind of gacha system or microtransactions where you can pimp up your car. So I'm guessing, you could say that your initial car is free, and then if you want to make your car more powerful, then of course you're gonna have to spend microtransactions. That is the mobile market, so it's not gonna change. But so it makes sense. It's gonna make a lot of money. I mean, if Fire Emblem is making that much money on mobile, Mario Kart should be a slam dunk of making money for them. So it makes sense, Caleones. I have nothing against. What I will say is I want to give credit to Nintendo. If I was tough on Nintendo before, when I have to give them props, I give them props, and I want to give them props when they announced that they were doing the mobile games. A lot of people thought, oh, this is the end of Nintendo. They're just going to do mobile games. And they have done a pretty good job in balancing the mobile games completely separate from the hardcore games that are coming to the Switch. So they're still giving you the best games on the market, but they're still doing the mobile games. So I want to give them props for that. The quality of games has not dipped because they're doing mobile. It's just another revenue stream that they're getting. And they're going to your point earlier. You said they're doing multiple streams of revenue. Now they're doing the movie too. So Nintendo is only comparable to Disney in having the world's strongest IPs. You have Mario, you have Zelda, you have IPs. There are Pokemon. You have IPs out there. They are treasure, and they're right next with Mickey Mouse and Goofy, the stuff. And Nintendo could be using those IPs now more in movies, and they're gonna probably make a lot of money. Hopefully that Mario movie, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be good. I'm really, it's, I used to be a huge fan when I was a kid, Caleones, growing up with the Mario cartoons. So if you remember, we're the Mario Brothers and plumbing's the game. You remember that, right? So exactly. You can take it in trouble. You can call on the brothers. Ooh, anyway, sorry about that. The young kids on the chat, you won't remember that. Go to Netflix. The show is on Netflix right now. Anyway, and it was cool watching Mario go into the adventure with Luigi, Princess Toadstool, well, Peach now, and Toad, and go through that adventure. Every episode was a different adventure, and you always imagine if they do a Mario movie that there would be something like that. So I'm really looking forward to see how they integrate the crazy gaming aspects of the game into the movie. So I'm done, unless you want to add something, Caleones.
Well, I'll say there's two things that because at first, when I would think about a Mario movie, and it may have been aided by the catastrophe that was the live action movie, is that I thought it was going to be one of those IPs that it was going to be impossible to translate to the movie screen, and it was hard for me to think of a way that you could do a successful Mario movie until two things happened. One, if you remember, during the Olympics in Brazil, when they did the passing of the torch in between Brazil and Tokyo, Japan, who was the mascot for? It was Mario. Yep. So the prime minister of Japan came in dressed as Mario, and before that, you actually saw Mario, sitting in the car, running, doing the tunnel. And this is, I believe, this is the first time I've ever seen how the actual tunnels work, how they dig through the earth, and how you make those holes, to travel over. So I saw that concept, and I said, this would make great for a cartoon, for a movie. It does a great explanation, and I can really see it. And the other one, of course, was Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, because and to a certain extent, Super Mario Odyssey as well, because now we're seeing Mario more animated. We're seeing a bigger story side to him, and we're not talking about Super Mario RPG, which it had a lot of story, but it was still it was on that 2D setting, so you can or top down 2D 3D ish type graphics, so you can really get a good understanding of how it would work. But now with Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, with Super Mario Odyssey, and with that showing at the Olympics, I believe that they can really pull it off, that they can do a really good Mario movie and do justice to the character. And hopefully it is a success, because Mario's not the only IP that I'm interested in seeing on the movies or on the TV. I want to see a Zelda show. I mean, can you imagine a Legend of Zelda type show with the budget of a Game of Thrones? Who would not want to see something like that? So, but make it more PG or PG-13-ish. Eliminate the other things. But
of course,
of course. But yeah, there's Nintendo has the richest collection of IPs outside of Disney, and I'm happy that they're making to me smart decisions on how they're approaching all of this. About Illumination, it only makes sense. They're part of Universal. Nintendo has to deal with Universal about the Super Nintendo World parks anyways, and those parks are going to come to the US as well. So you knew that it was going to be there. Like, that relationship was going to continue to build. I'm happy that it's happening. Hopefully everything is a success, just so they can continue growing their IPs and we can see more and more things out of them.
Okay. We'll see what happens. Some moving dealings. Kamoshima's racking that money for Nintendo for sure. Anyway, we're done with Reggie's Hot Topics of the Week. Now we're moving to our section where we give you the news, but in really fast fashion, which I call Onuma's News Burst. Still need to find the soundbite. Anyway, Caleones, what is the quick first piece of news of the night?
Okay, I don't know if it's going to be quick or not, but first one is outside of the same conference, Nintendo wants to support Nintendo Switch for more than 5 to 6 years. So give you an understanding, the 3DS already has been out for more than 7 years, but that's because you saw the 3DS, you saw the 3DS XL, you saw the new 3DS. So I can probably expect the same thing happening with the Switch. We can see the Switch Mini, we can see the Switch Pro. We can probably see those models for the next 6 to 7 years. What I don't really see Nintendo going away from is the whole like hybrid aspect of the console. So I think going forward, this is probably what we're going to be seeing from Nintendo consoles, being hybrid and then something else incorporated to that concept. But uh, that's the first one. Going over to the next one is that Kimishima, Nintendo's president, says that the company can compare Switch to Wii once they brought in ways to play. So as far as Wii, the Wii sold over 100 million consoles worldwide during its lifetime. Switch is on pretty much you can say close to 15 right now in like 10, a little over 10 months. They're on pace to get there because as far as like the Switch right now, it is the fastest selling console ever. So that tells you that at least it's keeping up with the sales from the Wii. So hopefully it's going to continue the same way and it's going to get there. But they need to broaden the appeal of it. And one of the biggest appeal about Wii was, of course, its launch title, Wii Sports. So that did a lot to sell people on the Switch. Moving over to the next one, Nintendo says that they have more new peripherals, hardware devices planned for the Switch. So we already saw the first one with the Nintendo Labo. It was something came out of nowhere, but it makes total sense. It is something that I believe is going to be, well, I don't know if I should use the word revolutionary, but I think it's going to push forward Nintendo and people, on how they perceive the Switch and what it can do. So Kimishima says that we can expect more of those things from Nintendo. Then going over to the next one, Kimishima states that more Nintendo games will be having DLC and events. It only makes sense. That's one of the reasons why the appeal of Splatoon on the Wii U continue to garner, I guess, esteem, because they had the new park releases, they had new items, they had the new ranking modes. So you had those things coming out. They did the same thing with ARMS. They're doing the same thing with Splatoon 2. You had the expansion pass for Breath of the Wild. I know it's not first party, but you have the same thing for Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has it as well. So we're going to continue to see those things. Hopefully, it's not going to get to the point where you, like other consoles, where you're finding that they're purposely keeping content from the main game just so they can sell it to you later. Hopefully, it's not going to get to that point, but Nintendo will continue to expand on it.
Just quickly to step in, at every piece of news that we had Kamashima just talking about what they're doing, you can clearly state Kamashima is more of a businessman, pure and simple. He's making decisions to make sure that there's growth in Nintendo. So it makes sense. It sucks. I hate DLC. You know me, Caleones. Even if it's after the game is ended, it's a fact. But Nintendo's just embracing things that they think it will make them money and keep growing as a company, and it is what it is. So anyway, go to the next one.
Yeah. Nintendo also they shed light on the Nintendo Labo and the response to it, and they said that they received a lot of positive response from Nintendo Labo, especially from families. I mean that's one of the things that we talked about. You did mention that it's not for you, but that your son is really excited to play it. In my case, I was really excited to see it. My kids, they want to get it. Make sure they get it day one. I'm going to try to see somehow if it's going to be possible that we can secure maybe like a review copy or something like that, that we can feature it here on this channel. So I will try that out.
Thank you, Cool Drummer. Thank you for that. That's what we're here for. We're here to talk about that beautiful console. So thank you for that. You should see the start of the show. We did talk a lot about the Switch in the start of the show. But anyway, Caleones. Quickly for the Labos, Caleones is working one of his writers for Chigero'sNews.com.
Actually, I want to interject you real quick. Aside from Chigero News, I also write for SwitchScore.net. And one of the site owners, he was invited. So, well, you can tell him.
So anyway, so a couple of sites. Caleones is all over the place. He's the man with the plan, making the moves. But anyway, so Caleones is gonna talk to one of the writers. He was invited to see the Labo in person. He played the Labo in person. So he wants to bring him next week. So he's gonna work with that person to bring him next week and give us full-on impressions about the Labo. So there's going to be a lot of Labo talk next week. So if you guys are excited for the Labo, come in and join us next week for sure. But I just wanted to give that shit plug for next week, Caleones. You can continue, my friend.
Okay, so moving along, Nintendo stated that the Super NES Mini has reached 4 million units sold globally, and that's sell-through. It's not shipped; it's actually sell-through. So I mean that's 400 million. The Super NES Mini, I guess it was thought about
not 400 million. You said 400 million.
No, 4 million, 4 million. Yeah, I want to clarify this. 4 million.
Like,
if it was,
whoa, damn!
If it was 400 million, they would drop the Switch on the spot and just concentrate on the Super NES Mini. But
hey, if that was the case, it would have become the best-selling console of all time, beating the PS2. But anyway, just joking, Karen, let's keep going.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, 4 million units sold. It's still available, so if you guys want to get it, today I went over to the Best Buy store. They had it in stock. So Nintendo they're doing good on having the Switch in stock now, having the Super NES Mini in stock. So they're able to produce more consoles. They're not having the infighting with Apple about chips or anything like that. So they're making it more available for you guys.
The reason for that is because the iPhone X is not selling. I'm joking. I got the X, and trust me, that was the worst decision ever made. So don't buy the iPhone X. But anyway, go ahead, Caleones.
Okay, and moving on for another one, another piece of news, and this is coming from Platinum Games designer Hideki Kamiya. He basically says...
The creator of Devil May Cry, Resident Evil 2, Wonderful 101, and of course Bayonetta. But I want to give him the props because the guy's big, is huge. Well, he was also the creator of Scalebound. Yeah, anyway. Go ahead, Kanye.
Well, not his fault, but anyway, basically, there were a couple of fans asking about Bayonetta and asking for the game to be featured on the PS4 and the Xbox One. Basically, he stated, if Ninty says yes, it's yes. So ask Nintendo. Also, ask about Mario and Zelda for PS4. Get lost. Basically, what he's telling you is that you can pretty much consider Bayonetta a first-party title from Nintendo. I know that a lot of people
paying for it. They're paying for it, pure and simple. Who's giving you the money to make the game? Nintendo, pure and simple.
Yeah, and the thing is, Dantes, would Bayonetta 2 exist if it wasn't for Nintendo?
No, that is the truth. Sega was not gonna do it again. So even though Bayonetta won, and to me, let me clarify. So I played it on PlayStation 3, the first one. I haven't played the second one. I do have it on the Wii U. Someday I want to play it for sure. And the reason the PlayStation fans it hurts is because of a bad port. That game would have sold a little bit better on PlayStation because the Devil May Cry crowd is in PlayStation, right? But the problem is that the shitty port that the PlayStation fans got on PlayStation 3 hurt that game a lot. So Sega did not do the right moves, but again, everybody was sleeping on Microsoft bed, and I guess they thought that Microsoft was the one place that it was gonna sell. But we see that Japanese games don't sell on Microsoft's consoles. But the game was not gonna be made. Finally, Nintendo came in and says, "We'll make the game. We need more. They need more adult games in the system. That is the truth, Caleones. And I think Bayonetta can give them a pillar, saying that we can make some." Adult, hardcore type of action games. And again, Bayonetta 3, I think Bayonetta 2 sold 1 million units, so it's sold right there where they wanted it. So I think Bayonetta 3, this is the coming out party. They're bringing you Bayonetta 1 and 2 on the Switch, and now they're bringing you Bayonetta 3 later in the year. So, I mean, to me, this is the biggest chance to make Bayonetta as famous maybe as Dante from Devil May Cry. This is the chance. The Switch is selling so well that the momentum could carry Bayonetta to be selling, I would say, even Xenoblade numbers. And I'm joking when I say that, but, again, Bayonetta 2 only sold 1 million units, so in the lifetime sales, so maybe they'll hit 1 million in a month, right? And that's, I think, if they get Xenoblade numbers, Platinum Games would be happy, so.
Yeah, and I guess they don't necessarily need to sell those numbers on the Switch right now. It is Bayonetta 1 and 2 together is the Climax edition. But I mean the game was already released on the Wii U, so what they're going to be making now.
I'm saying 3 just in case.
Okay, 3. Yeah,
three is the one that 1 and 2 is more like, hey, if you haven't played it just to build a fan base. I'm saying 3 got a chance to, I think, get good sales, and this is the chance to bring that momentum and keep it going. And again, if you haven't played 1 and 2, you can play on the Switch. But what I was saying was 3, just in case, Caleones.
Yeah, so pretty much, Bayonetta 2 is considered one of the best action games of all time. It's received great scores. I think it has a 90 plus Metacritic score as well. So from the critics, everybody praised the game. It is one of the best games available on the Wii U. So it will be out on the 16th of this month. One and two, together, so you can get play those two, and before you get the third one. So it's gonna be nice having all three titles on the same console to play, but. Yeah, I mean, Bayonetta is you can pretty much expect her to be on Smash Brothers as well. So I believe something like Bayonetta 1 and 2 releasing now.
With a new haircut,
Yeah.
probably, but yeah.
Yeah, probably so. Third one is going to be different as well. But yeah, you can expect her to 1 and 2 coming out. Smash Brothers gives her another push, and then you get Bayonetta 3 releasing. So that should be a pretty good enough push for Platinum Games to be happy with the sales from Bayonetta 3.
Yep. Okay, keep going, Caleones.
Okay, so next one is that Capcom says that Ultra Street Fighter 2 on Nintendo Switch is a smash hit. So they were talking about the
Hadouken.
yeah, well, talking about the Hadoukens and everything else that comes with it. But they were talking about the Capcom had the same conference as Nintendo, talking about to the investors and about sales from the game. As I recall, I believe that they stated that they had sold over 500,000 copies of the game already, which at $40 per copy, it is pretty good. But I'm glad that even though it was high price, and we complained about the price when it first came out. But Nintendo's still supporting third-party games, so this is all good for being able to get more games or get more support from third-party companies in the future. So either way, fans, you guys did your job, and that's why we're getting more support from Capcom for this year. So we had an announcement. Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology DLC information has been announced. Basically, it's going to be out. This is for on Nintendo 3DS, so we're throwing a bone for the 3DS.
Well, the reason I put it because it was an interesting news in the sense that game it's a re-release from the DS version, and even an old game nowadays gets a DLC. I was surprised whenever I'm like, really? An old game getting also DLC now? Come on, man. Come on, man. Go ahead, Kali.
So yeah, I mean, it kind of sounds like the smartphone version of the game on the 3DS, because they have certain things like you can get grout rings for to gain additional EXP for $1.99. You can go the mold armlet to get additional money for $1.99. You can get a new difficulty deadly setting. This is free, so at least this one's free. But you get the Chibi art pack. So for the characters for $2.49, the classic art pack for $2.49, Baton in Mana. Each character will show up ready for a swim. Okay, for $3.99. So yeah, they're gonna have DLC is gonna be broken up like that. So it sounds like a smartphone version of the game for 3DS. That's pretty much.
It's a great game. It's a great RPG, guys. If you haven't a chance to play it. It is a good RPG. But anyway, it's just sad that when I see this, it is what it is. Go ahead, Kali.
Okay, going over to the next one, and this is one that I'm really excited about. CyberConnect 2. It's one of the companies that made one of my most favorite RPGs for the PS2 era, which were the Dot Hack games. I played those. I know you never got around to play them, but for me, it was a great concept.
It was that or beer during college. I guess I picked beer, but anyway, keep going, kind of.
Yeah, and engineering. So don't sell yourself short. But that's why you drank a lot of beer because of.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah,
let's say that.
They announced 3 titles for Nintendo Switch. I'm gonna kill the translation here, the pronunciation, but I guess it's Fogue.
Wait, what do you say? What do you say? What was that?
Fugui. It's hard to pronounce.
It sounded weird. It sounded like you said "fu," but anyway, that's
and that's why I'm not gonna say it twice. On the battlefield, which is gonna be a follow up to Tel Concerto and Solatorobo, Red the Hunter. So that's gonna be one. Do you have another one, which is a Tokyo Ogre Gate, which is a female steampunk action shooting game. And they have Cecile, which is a 2.5 or 2.5D side-scrolling action game. So they have 3 games coming out for the Switch. This is, I think, the have we gotten support from Cyber Connect 2 before? Or is this the first time they're going to be making Switch games?
I think it's the first time, right?
So, and hopefully, this is gonna bridge the dark games over, because I want to get those games on the Switch. They had a new version for the PS4, which looks really good. So maybe we can get something like that. But I'm glad that we're getting more support from them. And the very last piece of news, we have Typo Man coming to the Nintendo Switch on February 22nd. But I'm calling this the last one. But I got one more piece of news, which I wanted to discuss before we move over to our favorite, Nintendo store. About Typo Man is going to be available on February 22nd. It can be pre-purchased, but it is coming to the Switch. And the last piece of news, which we didn't really cover, it's about how Nintendo is still not wanting to kill the 3DS. And they said that they're going to continue, to run with it. So, I mean, the thing still won't die. It had great sales during the Christmas season, and it just won't go away. It doesn't really sound like it's taking development away from the Switch, because not that many games have been announced. But still, it's still alive and well, still making money for Nintendo, and they're going to continue with it. So we might get a 10-year run with it. So who knows?
Sure, why not? I mean, what the hell? I don't care right now. I'm not buying any 3DS games right now. Collecting dust. Anyway, we're done, Caleones, right?
Done,
baby, we're done. But it's time to move, Caleones, because it's time to go to our favorite store. So, Caleones, if I wanted to know the hot games coming up for Nintendo, which is our favorite market to go to?
Is Shigeru's supermarket.
So,
and
welcome to the supermarket, people. Welcome. Come in. I'm like the Walmart greeter. Come in. So, what games are available today, Caleones?
Well, we have I guess 13 different games coming out this week. So we have The Men of Yoshiwara Kikuya, Steam World Dig, Skyforce Reloaded, Shiftlings Enhanced Edition, Night in the Woods, Island Flight Simulator, Her Majesty's Spiffing, Frederick 2.
That's Evil a funny game. I play it on PlayStation. That's a funny game. If you want to play it. It's a click game, but it is funny. Go ahead, Calion.
We have Crypt of the Necro Dancer Nintendo Switch Edition, Eternal Blade, Samurai Showdown 2, 3D Mini Golf, and Mad Carnage. So aside from those games, I know that this is one of those games where it's had a lot of re-releases, but as far as Steam World Dig, it is a great game.
Game of the week. Part 2 just came out, and I think they're just bringing Part 1 so you guys know from the start. But Part 2 was really well received. So if you guys want to know where the series franchise started, go play that game. But yeah. Yeah,
so I believe for those games, that's probably going to be my pick of the week. But you still have pretty good titles until this Bayonetta 2, which comes out on February 16th. So 2 weeks from now, we're going to see the reception of that one and see if it'll be our pick of the week when it comes out.
Sure, why not? So, Caleones, are we done? Oh my God, time flies when you're having fun. Anyway, let's end it. You know how I'm going to end it, right? What do you think I'm going to do now?
Xenoblade.
Right on cue. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining us on the Get In and Get Out Nintendo podcast, episode 32. Every Saturday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Force In Unison gaming channel. Please remember to subscribe, like, and comment so you can make these two crazy MS happy. And I want to thank you guys for completing our road to 300. But now the road continues to 500. So please subscribe. Anyway, also, if you don't want to see ugly faces, it's all good. We got a solution for you. You can get this podcast on SoundCloud and iTunes for free. Rate us over there so you can show us some love. Also, go to our channel schedule so you can see the full shows that we offer in this little small channel. Remember, Saturdays, the Get In and Get Out Nintendo podcast. Mondays, Xenoblade Mondays. Tuesday, Force In Unison Live. Wednesday, Streaming Wednesdays, where Caleones play a little bit of Splatoon. And of course, Fridays, Toys and More Club. Hang with you guys and play a little bit of Minecraft for your entertainment. Also, we do have a Facebook page called @Force In Unison Gaming. And finally, and Dantes says finally, go to chiguerosnews.com and give some clicks and love to my boy Caleones and Switch Core 2. With all that said, thank you again. Good night, everybody, and long live Nintendo.